I woke up Monday morning to a pile of notifications about people who had bought my book and then later that day became a Twitter fashion icon. And then on Tuesday, I had my first refund request ever, was trying to hit a moving deadline and just experience general ennui. But by Wednesday, I was back up, bumping elbows with Stanford professors and making calls to someone I've been wanting to connect with for a long time. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the creative life is up and down, and I want to talk a little more about that on today's Finish Friday. Hey everybody, and welcome to Finish Friday. I'm your host Todd B from Tennessee, and to make up for my terrible hair, I have put on an adorable sweater and button-up combo. And today I want to talk a little bit about the ups and downs of the creative life. See, I first noticed my life was changing when it was Sunday. I was at the bowling alley with my dad and grandpa and brother. I feel like when you're bowling, you're either like obsessed with it or you can't stand it. My family is in this category. But as someone else was going up to the lane, I was sitting there and I looked at my phone on the table and I had an email from someone in iHeartRadio. And I paused for a moment and thought, when did my life become this? How am I somewhere where I can be way up one day and then way down the next? Because I used to consider myself a pretty evenly keeled guy, but I realized this: whenever you go after something with your creative work, you're going to be experiencing a much wider range of emotions. In college, I used to have this chorale director who would tell us all the time, in order to experience the highest highs, you have to experience the lowest lows. And I used to not believe it when he said that, but the further I've gone into my creative stuff, the more that I've realized it really is true. The high highs are almost always accompanied by some really low lows. But you guys know me. I can never leave it on a negative note. So while I can't tell you that it's going to get easier, while I can't tell you that it's always going to be fun and games, and I can't tell you that people won't let you down sometimes, or your heart won't be crushed whenever you try to do that thing that doesn't work out the way it planned, none of that is going to be easy. But I can promise you this, I can promise you that it's going to be worth it. I have been reading some great stuff lately. Some of you guys saw that I went to the used bookstore and got a big stack of stuff. What I recently finished was this book, Ingenious. Trying not to get the window glare, by Tina Seelig. It's just an incredible read. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna slip in a quick ask the audience right here. Would you guys be interested in like a monthly reading wrap up? Do you care about that sort of thing? Is that something you'd like to see? Because I love books. I know some of you guys do, but sometimes I feel like I'm having to like stick them in the show, and I'm wondering if a dedicated episode each month or something like that would be something you guys would be interested in. So yes or no, tell me in the comments. I'll reply to everybody and see what you're all thinking on that. This week's question of the week comes from my friend Kyle, and Kyle asks, how did you pick your bonuses to sell with your book? Before I get into that, I'm going to talk about why I think if you're an author watching this show right now, you got to start thinking about bonus materials right now. And the simple reason is because books alone are just not enough to run a business. If you want to write a book for the sake of writing a book and money is absolutely zero factor, amazing. Go ahead and write that book. Just know that the margins aren't going to be anything crazy and it's just an idea, which is fine. For me, I have a book as part of the startup cash to fund this show and some of the other things. So I had to think about, okay, what are some different ways that I could provide value? What are some extra levels of things that I can give to people? And one thing I noticed was really interesting when I was looking over other people who had done similar things with books and bonuses is that one of the bonus almost always include a quicker way to get the content of the book. If you're a writer right now, one of the best things you can do, not only in your book sales, but in general, is save people time. Time is more valuable to them than your adjective. So when it comes to picking out bonus, I sat and looked at my book. I thought, okay, what are ways I can get the big concepts to people in the shortest amount of time. And what I did, you guys can check out the sales page below at any time, was kind of wrap up these different ways for people to get the shortcut to the information that they really needed to have. So whenever you're thinking bonuses, whenever you're thinking upgrades, think of what you've already done and ways to package that in a more powerful and punchy material. This week's artist spotlight falls on Andrew Fang. I'm going to flash up a couple of things, of course, of the work that he's done, and it's obviously really impressive to me. But what's more impressive to me is Andrew's relentless pursuit of getting better, not only in his art, but in the way he positions himself, the way he attacks the world, the way he presents himself to potential customers or clients or whatever it is. He's always looking for that edge. He's always looking for that extra bit of effort, extra bit of work that he can do to get a little bit better. You've inspired me, and I know that you're going to inspire everyone else here. That does it for episode 54. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've already done the Ask the Audience, but I'll throw it in here again. If you are interested in a book wrap-up, a what am I reading kind of post, note that in the comments down below. I'll be happy to see. I respond to pretty much everyone in there after the first 24 hours at least. Once again, I'm Todd B from Tennessee. Don't forget to thumbs up this show if you liked it, and I will talk with you next week.